Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Gym Pack Zone, where I, Vanessa Kensington, go over Impact Wrestling. This week, I am joined by Felicity Shagwell and Foxy Cleopatra as we get ready to predict the matches for Against All Odds, Impact's premium live event here in the month of June. It's a stacked show with 9 matches, some really great title matches, and I can't wait to get into them with you guys. So, Foxy, Felicity, what are the matches you're looking forward to most? Because I could tell you the match I'm most looking forward to is the main event title match between Steve Maclin, the champion, and Alex Shelley.
Felicity Shagwell by name, Shag very well by reputation. I was going to say the ABC versus Good Hands match for the Impact World Tag Team titles, just because I'm a huge fan of this little Bullet Club faction that Impact has running around. But honestly, this 8-4-1 match to determine the number one contender seems like a really cool concept. From what I've been seeing,
we'll get into the concept in a little bit, because I guarantee Chad doesn't know what it is. But yeah. I agree with you; it is a good concept.
And from what I have been seeing about it, it's the first time Impact is trying this, so it seems like at least a good idea. I've always liked that Impact at least tries to do different things, and I like the idea of this. So I'm looking forward to see how this all plays out, both in terms of like the actual functionality of the match, and then how it all plays out in terms of what happens in the ring.
Exactly. Now, Foxy, you are the Beyonce of our group. Do you have a match that you're looking forward to?
I don't know all the matches, of course, but I am absolutely looking forward to Alex Shelley versus Maclin. I think that's going to be a bang.
Absolutely. Shelley earned this match, winning the number one contender spot at the last pay-per-view. So very happy to see him getting another world title opportunity. But that is the main event. So we are going to start at the bottom of the card, or at least what Wikipedia says is the bottom of the card, as the design, which is Cody Deaner, Big Con, and Alan Angels take on OVE, a group we haven't seen in Impact in years at this point. OVE being represented by Sami Callihan, Jay Christ, and Madman Fulton, someone we haven't seen in Impact in quite some time. So this is going to be an Ohio street fight. What that means, I don't know. Maybe just LeBron won't be there. But I do know that it's going to be bloody, it's going to be vicious, and it's going to be, by design, violent. So I'll start. Well, you know what? I want to hear totally unbiased predictions. Foxy, why don't you start? Who do you think is going to win, OVE or the design?
The design is the group Eric Young was in before he went back to WWE, correct?
Yes, violent by design, now just the design.
Just the design.
Hence the earlier pun.
They lost the violence. I really don't know this OVE. I know Sami Callihan. I don't think I know Jake or Madman Fulton. If I'm not mistaken.
You do know Madman Fulton, actually. He was Sawyer Fulton in WWE and NXT, where he was, in fact, an original member of the Wyatt family.
Sanity.
Not
Wait,
Sanity.
what?
The Wyatt family.
I don't think I've ever known that.
He was originally
That's
picked
a
for the
great
Wyatt
comeback.
family. Unless I'm making this up and it is Sanity, I am fairly certain it was the Wyatt family.
I know for a fact Sawyer Fulton was in Sanity. I do know that.
Wasn't he in Sanity in the beginning and then he got hurt and then he got replaced? Was that him?
Yes.
Then you know what? I just completely pulled the Wyatt family out of my butt, but I could have swore. But you know what? I'm the Impact guy. I'm clearly not the NXT guy. That's something you would know better than I would.
I'm not a big fan of Sawyer Fulton, Madman Fulton, or whatever. I've seen him wrestle enough. I'm gonna go with the design.
I too am gonna go. I understand that pick, but I'll explain in a bit. Felicity, who do you got?
I'm just confirming over here on Wikipedia that
I was wrong. We don't got to get into it.
I just wanted to clear everything up. I'm going to go with OVE just because I think, Sami Callihan returning to Impact is a pretty big deal. When you bring new people in like this, I think it's usually smarter for their first big match or I guess in Callahan's case, the first big match back.
Well, Callahan's been around. It's Fulton who's coming back.
Correct. Okay. But I still think that point still stands. Like having somebody big come back is, it's usually best to have them go over in their first big match back. And I assume the design can, take a loss here. Like it's probably not going to be the end of them. From what I'm hearing, it's going to be bloody and fun. So I'll take OVE here in this fight. Also, Ohio street fight probably just means it's a street fight that takes place in Ohio.
That's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. I don't know enough about stars to debate that. So I'm gonna go with the design personally. You made a great point. You have some returning talent here in Jay Christ and Madman Fulton, but the design need a win. They did not look great against Rich Swann and Sami Callihan last pay-per-view. And now that they're a full trio, they need this to stay relevant. Personally, I'm going to go with the design, but I don't know what the plans are for Jay Christ and Madman Fulton. I don't know if this was a one-off. I don't know if they're going to be back for a while. If they are, I'd like to see OVE win. If not, the design needs to take the win. Moving on, we have a Knockouts tag team match where the Knockouts world champion, Deonna Purrazzo, is teaming with Trinity against Gisele Shaw and her muscle, Savannah Evans, as they're accompanied by Jay Vidal. This is a big match for Trinity. Deonna Purrazzo will be defending her championship against Trinity moving forward after this match, not in the same night, but at the next pay-per-view afterwards. So very interesting to see how these two rivals will coexist. Felicity, who do you have?
The old can they coexist ploy. I'm gonna go with Trinity and Deonna Purrazzo. It obviously win for them, sets up their match at the pay-per-view. You could do the loss thing to maybe try to put like a wedge between them, but I'm just not feeling that. Trinity is too new to the company, I think, to have her take a pin. And I don't think you should pin the champion usually unless you're setting up for a match later down the line. And I feel like Shaw has gotten her chances recently. Now, if you want to put Savannah Evans over, that's possible. Maybe give her a shot. I don't know where they are with her, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. So I'm going to take Trinity and Deonna. It just makes sense storyline-wise.
Very, very well put, Miss Shagwell. Is that just name or is that reputation?
I already made that joke.
Sorry. Anyway, Foxy, what do you got?
I am also going Trinity and Deonna. I don't really see a reason for them to lose, even though I feel like Gisele Shaw just lost, correct?
Not only did she just lose, she's been losing. Yeah, she did lose.
She's on a streak. Okay,
yeah. She did lose to Trinity. She did lose to Trinity at the last pay-per-view. But yes, in general, she just loses.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so she's a loser. That's fine. Yeah, so then definitely Trinity and Deonna. Let me also just go on record saying I do not love the coexisting before a championship match thing. I almost hate it, except for when it was Shawn Michaels and John Cena.
That was good. That was good. But I don't see
that was really great.
I don't see a Knockouts tag team title win in the cards for these two. But it would be really
as long as they don't do that.
It would be really cool. So just to double down on what both you lovely ladies said, not only is that a very played out trope, they just did that with Deonna Purrazzo and Jordynne Grace before Jordynne Grace left the company, which was these two women were going for the Knockouts title, for the vacant Knockouts title, and they had a tag team match at the pay-per-view before that they could not coexist, and they did lose. So the fact that they're already running this again is very funny to me. But I am going to go with the opposite this time. The champion and her challenger are going to they are going to win over Gisele Shaw and Savannah Evans. Like you guys said, I don't want to call Gisele a loser, but she certainly is not a winner. And I don't think Trinity is in a place to take a loss yet. So
that only makes her one thing if she's not a winner.
I don't know what you're talking about. I will not stand for it. But regardless, yeah, gonna go with Deonna and Trinity. Moving on to a match that is breaking my heart. Our first title match of the night, as the Impact Digital Media Championship is on the line as champion Joe Hendry. Guys, I'm gonna get him on the show. defends against Dirty Dango, the newly heel Dirty Dango, with a gimmick that I don't quite understand, but I am captivated by. I don't know. I've let you guys both go first on the previous matches. I think it's important that I explain what's going on. That way you guys can make a better educated guess with your pick here. So
Please.
Santino Marella has been the
solid pronunciation.
Thank you, sir. Has been the authority figure in Impact for a while now, basically since Scott D'Amore left, even though he was back. His sheriff, deputy, detective person has been Dango. Dango has been trying to befriend Joe Hendry, who hasn't really been feeling it, but hasn't really had the courage to shoot him down either. A couple of weeks pass, and all of a sudden, Santino Marella is beat down and attacked by an unknown assailant. The only clue that we had was that Santino grabbed a tuft of hair, and they were trying to match that hair off the head of whoever it could have been. Weeks go by, there isn't any definitive pick. Dango is on the case, trying to be the policeman that he once was in another company, trying to figure out who the assailant was. Joe Hendry comes on board as his new Tyler Breeze, and eventually it is discovered the assailant was none other than, do you guys want to guess? Do you know who the assailant was?
It was Dirty Dango.
Dirty Dango.
It was Dirty Dango. The hair didn't come from his head. It came from his luscious chesticles, and the hair came from his right pec. So that led to a beatdown where Dango took out Joe Hendry, took out his frustrations on Joe Hendry, and now we have a Dango who is cutting backstage promos in dark alleyways in black and white, where he basically says Impact's locker room is full of marks who would never have made it with the boys back in the day. And Joe Hendry, he thought was cool, but is just another mark just like the rest. So Dirty Dango is challenging Joe Hendry for the Digital Media Championship. That was a lot of exposition, but somebody needs to do it. I am going to send it to Foxy.
Okay. That story was actually cool as hell. I'm super intrigued. How long has Joe Hendry had this title?
He won it from...
I thought it was Brian Myers.
So Myers had the championship. He lost it to... I forget who he lost it to, but he lost it, and then Cardona had it, and then No, you're right. Regardless, Joe Hendry has had it, and it's been a few months of having it.
Okay. I'm going to go Dirty Dango just because I absolutely love Fandango. Dirty Dango, whatever he's called himself this month. I've always liked this guy. I'm sure it's super charismatic and entertaining as hell watching him, and I'm actually excited to watch him now that he's there. He might not win. He probably won't, but I'm going Dango.
Hey, I get the loyalty. I get the loyalty. And just to clarify, the last champion, you were right, was Brian Myers. Cardona had it before Myers. In between was Rich Swann. But as soon as Hendry won it from Myers, he feuded with Cardona. He won the title in October of 2022.
Gotcha.
So good memory there, Foxy. Now, Felicity, the only woman in this group who I actually shared a movie with, even though I didn't share scenes with you. Who do you got?
I believe in Joe Hendry, but I here's the thing. When I feel like because they just turned Dango, having him lose this match would probably be, I don't want to say detrimental to his new character, but it definitely won't help. Like, how can I have this guy turn heel and then just see him immediately lose and then take him seriously? And I know I'm saying that about Dango, but like, come on, it's wrestling 101. So as much as I fucking love Joe Hendry, he's had the title for a while. It feels like, you know, giving this new Dirty Dango character a title here makes a lot of sense. So I too am going to pick Dirty Dango, even though I kind of hope Joe Hendry pulls it out.
You absolutely give it to the guy who beat Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. Immediately. What's wrong with you guys?
Foxy Cleopatra is absolutely right. Let's get the championship on AJ Styles. No, I'm sorry. AJ didn't win at WrestleMania, and I'll never let it go. But
Styles Clash.
I am actually, this is a tough one for me because Joe Hendry has been a great champion, and I don't feel like they've really scratched the surface of what he could do as champion. And being the digital media championship, he does have a somewhat good online presence. That said, I do agree with you, Felicity. Dango just turned heel, and if he doesn't win, I don't know where he goes from here. My heart says Joe Hendry, but I'm going to go with Dirty Dango, and let's see if he could win his first singles championship in a major company, if I'm not mistaken.
Hendry's also had the title for like 230 days by the time this pay-per-view happened. So it's been a minute with him. If they haven't done everything to do with this championship reign yet, like what are you doing? I feel like that would be a waste of time then.
All I'm saying is they've done a lot and they could always do more. Because I believe in Joe Hendry.
I have one weird question before we
No such thing.
What has Dirty Dango's attires been like in Impact? Are they still like super flamboyant and entertaining, or?
They've had that Dango flair, but they weren't quite WWE levels of Dango.
Okay.
He did wrestle in a t-shirt a week or two ago simply because of trying to hide the chest hair, but he's mostly been rocking a jean vest.
Okay.
Did it look like Austin Powers chest hair, or
no? It looked like it looked like a normal person's chest hair, but it also looked odd on him because he doesn't normally have chest hair.
Yeah, like he just hadn't shaved in a while.
Yeah.
Does he still wear bell bottom like pants? Or no?
It's hard to describe. It's like it's not. They're definitely tights, but like they look like douchebag tights, like douchebag jeans. They kind of look like, but they're tights.
Oh, I got it.
You know, like something that like an Ed Hardy person would have worn.
Foxy, this is called the internet. We go on it to look at stupid videos and Google what his tights look like.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is more or less what I just did to try and describe what these tights look like. And he's gone back and forth from having bleach blonde hair and dark hair. But yeah, that is a tough one for me. But like I said, I'm going Dirty Dango. But moving on, we have what is kind of just a grudge match, nothing serious. I guess both men just needed to be on the card, and they've been arguing about who's the real locker room leader of Impact. We have Eddie Edwards, presumably being accompanied by his wife Alicia, taking on Frankie Kazarian. Eddie Edwards and Kazarian were both in the #1 contenders match for the Impact World title, and both men lost. And Eddie thinks that Kazarian came back to Impact and thinks he thinks more of himself than he should. So you have two Impact veterans, one a former world champion and one who's never quite won the title in Kazarian, and they're going at it. I'm going to send this one to Felicity first. Who do you got?
I'm picking Kaz because I'm always going to pick Kaz because I love him.
That's very fair.
And I don't really have much more than that. I'm going with Frankie.
I like it. Who do you got, Foxy?
I'm absolutely also going Frankie. I just
do ya?
I don't see why he would lose. I don't think he should. Anyway, he's great.
I get that. I too am going to go with Frankie just because right now Impact has a unique situation where they have two veterans on their roster who have never won the world championship. One being Frankie Kazarian and one being Alex Shelley. And I think they're going to pull the trigger on one of them eventually. And I think Frankie needs to get some wins in on his own outside of tag matches to put him in a position to do so. So my money is on Frankie Kazarian, setting him down a path to eventually win a world championship. Moving on to what will be no doubt an exciting tag team match. we have the Impact World Tag Team Championships on the line as the Good Hands, Jason Hotch and John Schuyler, are challenge the ABC of the Bullet Club, Ace Austin, and Chris Bay. And the Good Hands are now under the tutelage of Brian Myers, something that kind of rubbed Moose the wrong way. But here we are. So I'm very excited for this tag match. The ABC have not disappointed since becoming champions, and the Good Hands have been showing a new side of them the last few weeks under Brian Myers' tutelage. So I'm going to send this one to, who wants it? How about that? Who wants to go?
I'll take it just because I want to throw up a too sweet, pick the ABC.
Go for it. You going ABC?
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. Because I don't know how long they've had the titles, but I feel like having titles on Bullet Club is always a good thing, especially two guys as charismatic as these two guys. So they retain. I'm sure the Good Hands are going to have a very good showing, and there's going to be a lot of really good false finishes. But I got ABC retaining. Too sweet.
I like it. I like it. Now, Foxy, who do you got? Retention or first time champs?
Okay, so I've had the beautiful privilege of not seeing any of these men wrestle. So I'm actually very excited about this. I don't even know who the Good Hands are. However, I have heard immense, like, great shit about ABC, so I'm definitely going for them to retain.
I like that. I like that. Hey, their reputation does precede them. They've earned it. Again, this is a weird one where it feels very, to me at least, watching the product as much as I do, feels pretty obvious that it should be the ABC. That said, the Good Hands are a hot new act right now. Hot is being a little generous, but they are a new act right now. And the ABC have had a long reign with the titles. More than anything, I just want them to be part of Forbidden Door and All In. So I wouldn't mind them losing the tag titles, and meaning they could partner up with Bullet Club Gold or something.
Selfish.
So does it make any sense at all? No. Is it what I want? Yes. So I'm going to say the Good Hands win so I could get what I want the way Batista did.
What you don't think Impact would send them to Forbidden Door or All In with the titles?
This is what I'll say. I think Impact would send them no matter what. Do I think AEW wants them? I don't think so. And I think that breaks my heart more than anything else. I think now that Chad, I don't know if this is a spoiler for you. I don't know if you caught any bit of Dynamite, but the Ass Boys seem to have just joined Bullet Club Gold. And if they're going to be the tag team of Bullet Club Gold, I don't know how much room that leaves for ABC. And let me say, as someone who was marking out at the aspect of the Ass Boys joining Bullet Club, I would trade them in a second for the ABC. Impact losing them would be a major loss, but it would be a major win for both of those young men. But I don't know. I'm sure Impact would love to have their tag team champions represented on a major show like Forbidden Door or All In. But I don't know if AEW has any plans to include Impact in either of those events, unfortunately.
I've also heard too that, like, I don't know, maybe this is just internet speculation, but after their last, dealings, which, with that being AEW and Impact kind of got the short end of the stick from all of that stuff. I mean,
they absolutely did.
Yeah, like in terms of like nobody beat Kenny. The person who beat Kenny was an AEW guy who then eventually dropped the title, and Christian, who then eventually dropped the title back to the company. But like, and then even then, a lot of people were saying when people did tune into Impact for Kenny, they watched the Kenny segment and then stopped watching. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know if there's bad blood there, but I don't know necessarily if Impact would want to send people to AEW, let alone AEW, having a desire for them to come. So, well,
the
last what side it's coming from in terms of them not working together right now.
The last real instance that I can remember of Impact working with AEW was at but it was an AEW pay-per-view where the Motor City Machine Guns went to team up with Jay Lethal against, I think it was FTR and I don't know who it could have been.
I remember that match. I'll check.
Impact sent talent over, and it wasn't a problem. They didn't mind. And initially, that tag team was supposed to be the Briscoe brothers, but they still weren't allowed on AEW TV at that point. So clearly, I don't think Impact minds as long as the talent's down for it. I just don't know how much AEW talent they're going to want to have in their programming at this point. And quite frankly, like you said, I don't really blame them.
Makes sense.
It was Wardlow and FTR.
What was the group that they were in with MJF? What were they called again?
The Pinnacle.
Pinnacle?
Pinnacle. Okay.
Yeah, so it was Lethal and MCMG. It was at All Out, and they faced Wardlow and FTR in a 6-man, and then Samoa Joe came in and helped Wardlow and FTR win the match. So
Impact once again got the losing side of it, but they were highlighted on an AEW pay-per-view, and they didn't. I'm sure they were happy to be highlighted at all. So I don't know. I could see Impact sending talent over. Like I said, I just don't know if they're going to take any AEW talent. So we'll see how that could potentially go. Like I said,
nice.
ABC is so amazing that they'll work anywhere, individually or as a tag team. But moving on, we have another knockouts match, but this time with a twist. We're going to have a knockouts dog collar match between Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly. Now, this has been a fun feud between these two vicious women, as their first match ended with Masha Slamovich pinning Killer Kelly, as Killer Kelly had a chokehold on her. After getting the 1-2-3, Killer Kelly did not let go of the chokehold until she passed out and referees needed to pull her off of her. That led to the next several weeks of the two women going back and forth, fighting backstage, in boiler rooms, in locker rooms, in dark corners, in the crowd, all that jazz. They have been attacking each other and choking each other out with whatever is available, whether it's wiring or cables or good old-fashioned arm holds. They've been choking each other out, and I think that's why we have this dog collar match. I'm very excited for it. I'm a fan of both of these women. I'm going to send it to Foxy Cleopatra first, because she's one whole... Wait, how did that go?
A whole lot of woman.
Whole lot of woman.
Yeah.
Chad, you are a whole lot of woman, lady.
Thank you. Okay, so I don't know much about Killer Kelly. When I started declining with my watching on Impact, she was just, I think, debuting. So I'm not sure where I am with her. Masha, I'm a huge fan of. And I remember her being undefeated until I think she fought Jordan Grace and took her first L. With that being said, I'm thinking Masha is still ranked very highly and still getting a whole bunch of wins. So I'm going to go Masha just because that, but then Killer Kelly is the newer. I'm going to go Masha because I like Masha and I don't know Killer Kelly. But I think it would probably be smarter for Kelly to win, since her being a newer act and what have you.
Oh, it's a fair point. And Impact has definitely put themselves in a tough position here. But that's, it's an embarrassment of riches when you have talent like this.
Right.
So, Felicity Shagwell, what does your mojo say?
It's a tough call, because I was going to initially pick Masha because she scares the shit out of me. But... after hearing what you said about the way the last match ended, it almost kind of seems like maybe Killer Kelly should get her win back, because she had Masha dead to rights, and Masha kind of finagled her way out of it, so to speak. So yeah, I think I've kind of talked myself into Killer Kelly here. Like you said, it's a real toss up. They both have very good reasons to win, but I think I like Killer Kelly. The only thing that could maybe cost her the match is, I don't know if Kylan King, is it Kylan King?
Kylan King.
Cody used to just call her Kling Kling, and I've always called her that since. I don't know if she's still beefing with Killer Kelly, but if she is, then that's a possibility of her getting involved. We'll see.
That's fair. That's fair. Right now, Kylan King is co-knockouts tag team champions with Taylor Wilde as part of the Coven.
Oh, that's right. Good for her. But yeah, they're not on the card, so they need something to do.
They might be on a pre-show match, but
they're currently not on the card as of taping.
We'll see. We'll see. But no, very well put. Very well put. This is a toss-up for me. A coin could decide this, as far as I'm concerned. Neither woman should really be in a position to lose right now. Yes, because I could flip a coin and it could go either way. That's what I was saying.
No, I know. Did you flip one? I thought I heard one.
No, I threw it on the table and it was heads, but I didn't assign heads, so we'll never know.
Oh, I did that bit once. I forget who it was, but remember, I literally flipped a coin and then made my decision.
Well, I'm sorry. We've been doing it at the Mark It Down podcast for so long that we have to recycle bits every once in a while, But I am gonna go with Killer Kelly because I think you could plug her into a title match a little bit easier than Masha Slamovich right now, and I think whoever wins is probably gonna be next after Trinity. So either they're gonna challenge Trinity or they're gonna challenge Deonna Purrazzo. But we shall see. Moving on to our X Division title match, where we have a redo as champion Trey Miguel defends once again against Chris Sabin. Chris Sabin, who only lost last time because he got some green spray paint to the face. That would suck for me too. So I have been really impressed by Trey Miguel. He's a high-flying young talent with a good amount of charisma, and Chris Sabin is Chris Sabin. The man has done everything there is to do in Impact, and he still looks like he could go for another 20 years. So I am going to send this one back to Foxy Cleopatra. Now, Foxy, when you did that hair thing when you came out of the water, is there a trick to that, or is that just your secret?
No, it's the fro.
It's the fro.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
Let's see. Fact check. How long has Trey Miguel had this title?
That is
201
a
plus
question.
Days.
How many days?
Things like that always factor in.
201 and counting.
Oh, that is
as of
more than
recording.
enough. Thank you.
201. Give it to my boy Sabin.
Hell yeah.
Give it up. Just give it up.
She's
Chris
already an eight-time X Division champion. This would be a record 9 X Division championships.
Give it to him.
Oh yeah.
He should have all the things. He deserves it.
All the things.
All the things. Whatever
All
he
the
would
things.
like, they should just write it in his contract on a whim.
I mean, I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue with that at all. In fact, when I saw him wrestle at House of Glory, name drop right there for you guys, I told him, you better win your 9th X Division championship. But regardless of what I told him, Felicity, I got to ask, fat bastard, is it all proportional?
No. Why do you think he likes baby bottles so much? As for the match, it'd be really cool to see Chris Sabin win his record-setting 9th X Division title. I think Miguel goes over here just because I gotta assume they have somebody like Young who would benefit from beating Miguel for the title. So Sabin will get his record-setting title reign at some point, but I think it's Miguel here just so you can set up like a newer, younger face that end up beating him in the future.
All right. I like that. I like that. Or go for it.
Or you give it to the pro and let a rookie beat the pro.
Yeah, I guess it really depends on, and James, you would know this better than either of us, who would be, who would benefit most from, beating one of these two veterans for the X Division championship. And then obviously I think whatever your best option might be, whether or not they're a heel or face, for me would really help, lend to who I would pick. But I'm just leaning towards a retention here and then have a younger face beat him. But if there's a young heel on the rise that could really benefit from beating, X Division champion Chris Sabin, then I think then he wins the title, and then that person would eventually take it off of Sabin. But just for me right now, I think Miguel retains.
Oh, that's a fair pick. That's a fair guess. Unfortunately for you, I am gonna side with Foxy on this one. I have my reasons. I'm not going to get into them yet because I'm going to explain that later on in this show. But for right now, just know I'm going to go with Chris Sabin, 9-time champion.
That's going to be beautiful. And whoever takes it off a 9-time champion is going to be propelled.
I think it's I think it could. There's a lot of talent that it could be, and I'm excited for who it could be. But beyond that, we're going to move on to what should be, I believe. Felicity, you said it before that this is, I think, Impact's first instance of this match, the 8-4-1 match to determine the #1 contender for the Impact World Championship. Now, an 8-4-1 match, if you don't know what that means, I don't blame you because I didn't either. This match is going to start out as an 8-man tag team match. The winning team, whoever those may be, then go into a fatal 4-way match. So that team now becomes enemies. And then whoever wins the fatal 4-way match gets the title shot down the line against whatever champion that may be. If that sounded confusing, take a break. We'll figure it out together. We'll get through it together. But let me tell you who the 2 teams are and the 8 men. On team 1, you have Bully Ray, Jonathan Gresham, Heath, and Nick Aldis taking on team 2, Mike Bailey, Moose, PCO, and Rich Swann. One of those teams is then going to take on each other. So it could be Bully Ray versus Jonathan Gresham versus Heath versus Nick Aldis, or it could be Speedball Mike Bailey versus Moose versus PCO versus Rich Swann. That was a lot. I'm proud of you guys for sticking with me. You know, this is why Austin chose all of us as life partners. You know, some of us longer than others, some of us not even really. You know, I kind of turned out to be a fembot with machine gun jumblies. But besides all that, who do you guys have? I'm going to go with Felicity for this one.
I guess the first thing is how do we end up picking? I do have a question. Did Aldis face Maclin for the title yet?
No. So far, Aldis, to my knowledge, has only wrestled 2 people, Sheldon Jean and Kenny King.
Right. I knew about Kenny King. I guess it really depends on whether or not you think they're going to pull the trigger on Aldis yet or not. So, which is a tough call.
It's also worth noting that, to my knowledge, Nick Aldis does not have a signed contract with Impact. I'm pretty sure he is working on like a handshake agreement or a short-term contract. So I don't know if he's with Impact for the long haul. He could be, and even if it is for the short haul, Impact is known for putting their championships on people who are either out the door already or aren't there for a long time. So all these things factor into that situation. Why don't we do this? How about this? We'll split this down first. I'll do 1 and 1. Yeah. Which team do you think is going to win first?
Okay, well, I think the Bully Ray, Gresham, Heath, and Nick Aldis crew is going to win because I can just tell you, I think Nick Aldis is going to end up being the one in the 8-4-1 because if he does have a short contract, then I think you want to at least get him in a title match as soon as possible because apparently, you know, they teased that when he signed. Mm-hmm. So if he's got a short contract, you got to get him in. If he gets the title, then, you know, the sooner the better if you want to actually put it on him. If not, then, you know, you at least get that matchup against whether, you know, it's Maclin or Shelley. We'll talk about that next. But I think you get Aldis, just slingshot him right to the title picture, just in case.
Yeah, absolutely. Chad, now you. Which team do you think is going to win? And then who do you think is going to be the one?
I'm actually going to oppose Rev here.
Suck it, Felicity.
I dislike Bully Ray. I do love Heath. I'm indifferent on Aldis, and Gresham is cool. But the other team, I think I just like almost every member much more. I love Mike Bailey. I love Moose. I love PCO. I don't love Rich Swann, but so what? And I feel like the contenders in that team are just better. I mean, Moose is a former champion. He wants to get back to the mountaintop. Bailey has never gone for the title, has he?
Yes, he did. He had a great, I think it went almost an hour, if not a full hour, against Josh Alexander.
Ooh. He's somebody who I think should be in the top contender spot. Like, even if he doesn't win the title, I think he should be fighting for the title now after his great ass X Division run. PCO, who just went against the champion, still should have a shot. And Rich Swann is just there to get a few good moves off.
I'm going to say this to you. Of the 8 men in this match, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are former Impact World Champions, or former champions in Impact, I should say. Some of them might have won TNA championships. One of those men is Rich Swann.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And what, Gresham and Bully Ray?
Not Gresham. Gresham was a Ring of Honor World Champion.
Right.
It was
Bully
Ray,
Ray, Moose,
Nick Aldis, Moose, and Rich Swann.
Yeah, I'm going Mike Bailey, Moose, PCO, and Rich Swann. And from there, anybody but Rich Swann could win for me. Any of the other 3 in the Fatal 4-Way. Let me also just say that this match is innovative as fuck. And I'm like really interested in who even contributed to the idea. Like 8 on 4 on that's some sick shit. Impact again with the ringer. That's some good shit.
Somewhere Chris Jericho, Eric Bischoff, and Jeff Jarrett are fighting over ownership of this idea. Somewhere one of those 3 are saying it was their idea. So, all right. Felicity, you have Nick Aldis.
Yep.
Foxy, you have anybody but Rich Swann on that team.
Yeah. I mean, it would be amazing for PCO to do it again. I don't know how people are with him and if they want him to go for it again so quickly. So I would say maybe Speedball here. Shot in the dark. I know he's probably the dark horse. He's the underdog. Maybe I can't say, but I don't think you lose with a Speedball.
I agree.
Also, Moose is just fucking Moose. Like, even if he doesn't have the title, he's just fucking great. That's always a good feud as well.
Yeah, I think so too. So for me, I just don't know how long they plan on having. I don't know how long they plan on having Maclin be champion, because again, Josh Alexander had a year-long reign with that championship, and I'm of the belief that whoever the next champion is shouldn't have that long a reign afterwards. So it could, if I had to pick one from each team, I'd go with Nick Aldis and I'd go with Speedball Mike Bailey.
Yeah, I do the same. Since I didn't pick somebody from the other team, give me Speedball if the other team wins the initial 8-man tag.
So my heart says Speedball Mike Bailey because Bailey deserves it. That man has been the MVP of Impact since he's been there. And I would love to see him win the world championship. But my head says Nick Aldis because, let's be real, Nick, what the hell are your options? Your wife works in Impact. WWE didn't want you. AEW didn't want you when they were forming as AEW. And even if they, you know what? I take that back. I think they did want you and you didn't want to go to them. So Impact. Oh, and yeah, let's not forget the NWA didn't work out for you either. So let's just analyze our options here, Nick, and just be happy Impact is taking you. So
no, I think I'm wrong.
What?
Isn't Nick Aldis Magnus or Magnus?
Absolutely. He was Magnus.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Yep, back in the day.
He absolutely shouldn't win. He was the TNA champion. No?
Yes, he was.
Oh,
so this is what I'll say. In his defense, Nick Aldis has come a long way from his Magnus days. Even he acknowledges. And Nick Aldis carried the 10 pounds of gold, the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship, like a true champion. The problem with that was he was the biggest fish in a very, very small pond. So even though he does, in my opinion, have the pedigree of a champion, he doesn't work in a lot of places. He's like Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes wanted to do his Cody Rhodes thing, and it didn't work in AEW, but it did work in WWE. I think Nick Aldis could work in WWE. I don't think Nick Aldis will ever work in WWE. And the sad thing about it is Nick Aldis is still relatively young. Nick Aldis is only 36 years old. He's younger than most main event talents in both companies, in both major companies.
Okay.
So if I'm going to go not with my heart, but I'm going to go with my head on this. I do think it's going to be Nick Aldis. I do think he's going to win this match, and I think he is going to go on for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Okay. I hope you're all wrong, but
I do too, so much. So much.
which is a shame because I have nothing against Magnus. But
his best match was against Cody at All In.
That was a good match.
That was his best match. That and his championship defense against He Who Shall Not Be Named, but he was a certain villain of the Bullet Club and the Elite.
I knew exactly who you meant when you said who shall not be named.
where the fuck is Eric Young?
Nobody knows. Eric Young went back to WWE late last year, and he has not appeared on TV once.
Is he producing?
What happened?
Is he like a producer? Like
No, he went back to be talent, but nobody knows where he is. As far as the last few reports I've heard, he hasn't even been backstage recently for a long time. So I don't know what's going on. He recently posted something cryptic on his social media that indicates there's another change that's on the way. So maybe he is leaving WWE again. Personally, I would love to see if he comes back to Impact because they canonically killed him.
Oh, did they?
They, like, legitimately, the storyline is Cody Deaner stabbed him to death.
Oh, I have no idea that.
So I guess they are still violent by design.
They are something.
Man, what the hell happened to 5?
I 5 is killing it right now.
I know, but
Alan Angels is killing it. Besides, he's not even really like he never turned on the Dark Order. Stu Grayson is dead to me.
Yeah, yeah.
But
good quick question.
Yeah.
Is Crazy Steve still in Impact at all?
Is who?
Crazy Steve.
Yes. Unfortunately, Black Taurus is no longer with Impact. Or at the very least, he is no longer under contract with Impact. He might still appear on like a pay per like appearance deal. He might still appear in small doses, but he is no longer under contract with Impact. I am devastated, but I won't be if he signs with AEW as fast as possible. I need Black Taurus versus Luchasaurus in my veins now.
Oh, that motherfucker. Oh, yeah, that would be crazy.
That sounds cool. Yeah.
Also, you said Crazy Steve, and I was just like, the guy from Drake and Josh?
No. Oh, my God.
I can say this honestly. Both Crazy Steves could learn a lesson from one another. But, yeah, so that's that. And now our main event, where we have Impact World Champion Steve Maclin defending against Impact's greatest talent that has never won the World Championship, according to Impact, Alex Shelley. I was the one who called Alex Shelley was even going to be in a position to challenge for the title. He was my pick to win that 6-man #1 contenders match last month. I'm very excited to see him in this position, but we'll see how I feel with the prediction. I am going to go with Felicity on this. Now, Felicity, could you love a man who didn't have his mojo?
Oh, they usually find out that they've had it all along. So, yeah, probably. I am going to pick Steve Maclin here, and I feel bad for Alex Shelley. I want him to win the title, but Maclin just got the title. I think his title reign's only around like 50 days around the day of recording. And because I picked Aldis to be the number one contender coming out of the 8-4-1 match, and they have previously teased a feud between the two, I do think that Maclin needs to retain in order in order for that to pay off. So I am going to pick Maclin here. Obviously, this is going to be a really good match. Shelley is going to look phenomenal because he always does, but Maclin is going to end up retaining the Impact World Championship.
Very well put. Very well said. Back that up very well. Now, speaking of backing it up, Foxy Cleopatra, it's all you.
First things first, Alex Shelley has been phenomenal since, I don't know, the embassy. Shout out to Prince Nana. He also Alex Shelley is just one of those ones that transcends companies. I think he's literally one of the most talented wrestlers. With that being said, I don't see him winning this either. I think Maclin has a little more to go. I think there's a Maclin feud that I don't know what it is yet, of course, but that they're waiting for. That's going to be really, really envelope pushing, and I think that will be when he starts losing. But till then, I think Maclin will take this for a while. Maybe it is Aldis. Whatever. I'd rather be Speedball, but
I mean, I'm with you on that sentiment. And hey, this is Impact. Anything can happen. You never know. You think you have options A, B, and C. Sometimes they surprise you with option Q. Sometimes things just happen in Impact. But I am inclined to agree with both of you, beautiful ladies. As much as I would love the king of a generation, Alex Shelley, to finally win the Impact World Heavyweight Championship, I don't think it's in the cards, at least not yet. I do think Steve Maclin is retaining. And now to go back to my previous prediction of Chris Sabin winning the X Division Championship, I think Alex Shelley is going to be the man to challenge Sabin for the title. I think he's going to be spurned from losing 2 world championship opportunities in a row, and he's going to take that anger out on his partner who could win the X Division Championship for a 9th time and is a former world heavyweight champion in his own regard. So that's my bold prediction. I'm taking that one to the bank. As much as I love the Motor City Machine Guns, as much as I would love to see them be perennial tag team champions, I don't see another tag team title reign immediately anytime soon. So I think this would be a good way to keep them both in title pictures, in prominent feuds, and doing something a little bit different. So my prediction is Steve Maclin retaining the World Heavyweight Championship, sending a jealous and angry Alex Shelley to challenge his tag team partner, Chris Sabin, for the X Division Championship.
You make me sad.
Yeah, wrestling can't be all rainbows and kittens, kids. Sometimes we get sad.
Yep. Fucking Stu Grayson.
I'm not over it. I am not over it. But that's it. That's against all odds. And against all odds, we did this pretty quickly. Proud of all of us. Thank you guys. Who else would love a spinoff of just the 3 women teaming up? Felicity Shagwell, Vanessa Kensington, another fembot version of her, and Foxy Cleopatra. Let's get Beyonce back in a movie.
It is amazing how efficient we are when Danny's not doing these.
I am not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Okay, fembot or not, machine gun jumblies or not, I do not feel safe speaking about this. So I'm not going to. All right? This is a Rev thing.
For you, right? That's probably a good idea.
Yeah. And I'd say Felicity Shagwell was the boldest of the 3 anyway.
Absolutely.
I think so. But that's it. Thank you guys for joining me here in the Gym Pack Zone. You guys are always welcome in my neck of the woods on Thursdays. Please do. It gets lonely. I miss you too. Honestly, Wednesdays aren't enough for me. I'm needy.
We know.
Ouch. But anyway, Guys, thank you for joining us here at the Gym Pack Zone. Please, if you like this video, leave a like. If you're new, give us a follow. We appreciate any subscription. We're gentle. We only bite a little bit, and only if you ask real nicely. All right? We have all the social medias, every single one. Every single one. Go check us out. They're probably somewhere down below. Maybe. We'll see. But we would appreciate it again. I am Vanessa Kensington, joined by Felicity Shagwell and Foxy Cleopatra. Any last words before we sign off, guys?
No, I'm good.
Me as well.
Go watch
You're
Impact. Go watch Impact, everybody.
Watch Impact!
It's really good. Go watch it. Give it a shot. It's on YouTube.
Please, for me. WWE makes you pay $9.99 a month. I don't even know if that's true anymore. They make you pay a lot more. And Ring of Honor Club is $9.99 a month. That one I know for sure. And AEW doesn't even have a streaming site. That's how good Impact is. Just go to YouTube. We're here already. If you're watching me, you're here. Go watch it. It's nice. I love you. Have a good night.